My brothers and sisters, this is Reverend Angela Palacious, and I want to share with you on the topic, comforting others with the comfort that you have received. I'm sure that we all have been through some time of grief in our lives, and there are so many persons who are in grief at this time. Sometimes we do not even hear of the death because there's so much else that is going on around us. But there are many persons who are in grief for a variety of reasons, but particularly because of the death of a loved one. And so I want us to think about how we comfort others. This is still the Dorian month, and this is still just the first anniversary. So there are persons who are grieving from those losses, along with COVID losses and other losses. And so I want you to think about ways to help people to grieve. First of all, I think that we can ask persons to share whatever they want to tell us about their loved one, even if we have heard it before, to allow them to find healing and relief by being able to share their thoughts and feelings and their memories so that they have an outlet. Particularly if we know the loved one as well, then they feel a part of us because we are a part of the loss. And so we have a sharing in the grief. So allow persons to talk. Ask them questions if it seems appropriate, so that they can be able to wax eloquently about all that they are storing up inside. For the individual, you can encourage the individual to write a letter to their loved one and just pour out the feelings that they are feeling at this time. What a joy it was, the nature of the relationship, if they're sorry for something that they said or did, whatever it is, to allow the letter to be a way of expressing what is going on in the heart. And it can easily translate into a prayer where we ask the Lord to continue to give us that spirit of thanksgiving, or to lift the burden of guilt or shame or anger, whatever is our strongest emotion when we think of the person. And again, to give people the opportunity to tell us things that they may now be regretting, or things that still are a source of distress to their spirit, particularly if the nature of the death seemed an untimely one. We can also encourage our people to create some kind of memorial. If they can't afford something like a scholarship, they may be able to make a contribution toward a partial scholarship, or they may be able to give a small gift to a children's home if they've lost a child, or they may want to give a gift to UB if they had a teenager or a young adult. Just a small gift, but something that says we remember. And particularly if it's the sort of gift that could have a plaque somewhere that allows the person to feel that the memory of the loved one is going to live on. You can do that even in your own garden. I've seen people just put up a photograph and a memorial, as we often people would do where there was a car accident. But sometimes people just hang a picture of their loved one or a favorite item. They hang it out in the garden where they can see it, or they put it on the Christmas tree, whatever seems to be appropriate. And of course, one of the things that happens to survivors is that we can feel guilty that we have survived, particularly if, for example, there was a car accident and we were the driver, let's say, or some other incident where one person seemed to have been saved or recovered and the other did not. And how to recognize that you want to live your best life so that that becomes a gift to the person who is deceased, that you are now not robbing yourself of what it is that God has given you, and that the person can know that, as it were, you have not died as well. that you are accepting the life that is yours, and you're trying to move on to find out what is your best life now with this terrible absence in the midst of it. The grief support group is another way to grieve with people who are of like mind and like spirit and like experience. And we may, instead of finding one, we may decide, well, okay, we are going to have a grief group. And it may be for persons who are divorced, or persons who are separated, or persons who are widowed, or persons who've lost a child or lost a home, or whatever. We may decide that, as we hear of a few people, that we'll get together and we'll just talk and share and pray and plan a way forward, etc., etc. And so I want you to know that when it is overwhelming, there is not a thing wrong with saying, I need counseling. I need to talk to someone. I need to pray with someone. I need to journey with someone. And so that's how many of us who are clergy get calls, and other counselors. Those of us who are counselors get calls. But good friends can be a real gift. A church member, a neighbor. And so knowing when you need to move to the level of professional counseling is important as well, so that you are not floundering, you're not sinking, the darkness is not overwhelming. So I just want to encourage us as we become more sensitive to persons who are in grief for a variety of reasons, that we can allow them to have someone with whom they can share what it feels like to have lost a job, what it feels like to lose the prospect of a future hope that seems to be diminishing, or to have lost all of one's savings. Whatever it is, be sensitive and ready to listen, because so many are burdened with so much, and we can give them the gift of a loving heart and a listening ear. God bless you.